Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to another video. The feedback on the Rimuru series was outstanding, and since you guys enjoyed the series where we explained his powers, we decided for today to explain the powers and abilities of yet another Demon Lord. For today's video, we will be explaining the abilities of Ainz, or Momonga if you like, and just trying to find what exactly makes him tick. So, before we begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and press on the bell icon and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. I bet that at least one of you guys tried to go ahead, Google his abilities and powers, trying to understand why he is so powerful, and what you ended up on is the list of all his abilities, magic spells, passives, and so forth. It was just way too much information to take in and understand. That is, for today we will be trying to explain briefly these abilities and skills. And I said briefly back there because this guy has over 700 spells at his disposal. And I sure as hell don't have enough time to cram them in this video. So let's start off with the basics, shall we? In each MMO game, there is always a large array of classes a person can choose to learn and master, as well as numerous spells and passives and skills that come with it. Ainz in the world of the game was a level 100 maxed player like all the other players in his guild, the Tomb of Nazareth. His classes and race comprised of Skeleton Mage, Elder Lich, and Overlord for the most part, and all his abilities going forth that we are going to talk about and explain revolve around these three main classes. While for a job class he has the Necromancer and Ruler of Death classes, but what do those skills and classes mean exactly? An Elder Lich is an undead magic caster that is proficient in the dark and evil arts of magic, while the Skeleton Mage is just what dictates how Ainz looks, while Overlord is the cap level of a skeletal Elder Lich, which allows him to use high tier magic and spells, while when it comes to Ruler of Death and Necromancy, these abilities are practically self-explanatory, as we have seen them used countless times by the Lich himself. These abilities just dictate his control over death and rebirth, and his ability to summon Undead. One cool ability though, that we haven't seen yet, is the fact that he is able to summon powerful high-tier Undead, but at the cost of some of his experience, which explains why he didn't use it yet, since farming for experience is much harder in this world called Yggdrasil. In the game, Ainz's character was built all around the proficiency and mastery of the dark arts and death magic, which made him allocate a lot of his skill points and stats into his MP, magic stats, and resistances. It was never absolute strength that granted Ainz his victories in player versus player. It was rather his tactics, magical items, and the way he used all his knowledge and abilities to be one step ahead of his opponents, and thanks to the unique way he built his character, he was able to exceed the 300 spells limit and actually learned over 700 unique spells, thanks to Dark Wisdom, a unique skill for the Overlord class. However, even with all that, he isn't invincible. Sure, he is strong and all, but when it comes to pure brute strength, his powers are lacking, and from a game logic point, this is acceptable. After all, he is a mage, not a fighter or paladin, which makes him vulnerable, especially in close quarters combat compared to the other level 100 max players. However, in this world he finds himself stranded, and Ainz is a being with powers only seen in legends and myths, including him and his NPC Floor Guardians. They are the only beings that we know to have a level of 100 so far, which just due to this makes him seem overpowered and unbeatable. However, with all of his powers and abilities, these same classes and jobs come with a lot of restrictions. When it comes to the weapons he can use, adding to it the fact that he is a magic-oriented character, and even though there are some cases where he can bypass these limitations and restrictions like he did during the Shelter battle, these are still one-time case scenarios and aren't consistent in any way. So to kick off with things, let's mention some of his powers, and as I said before, they are many, and will be mentioned briefly. At first and foremost, he is Undead, and this class comes with lots of classes bonuses like biological penalties, resistance, bludgeoning vulnerability 5, critical hit immunity, dark vision, death immunity, disease immunity, double damage by fire, eating, drinking, and breathing are unnecessary, energy drain immunity, good, light, and holy vulnerability 4, good and holy consecrated areas, vulnerability 2, mind affecting immunity, necromancy resistance, paralysis immunity, physical penalty resistance, poisoning immunity, recover by negative energy, and sleep immunity. Clearly they have their advantages, but also some certain class unique disadvantages like weakness to fire and holy attacks, and so forth. Now for the Overlord race skills, including ability damage 4, acid immunity, arcane vision, see invisibility, black halo, create undead, dark soul, dark wisdom, despair aura, which has a wide range of effects starting from fear, insanity, confusion, and ending all the way up at instant death if the RNG hits just right. Then there is his electric immunity, high tier magic immunity 3, high tier physical immunity 3, ice immunity, negative energy touch, negative protection, speak evil tongues, status damage, slashing damage resistance 4, piercing damage resistance 4, turn resistance 3, undead blessing, and unholy protection. With all these abilities, what is most important here is the physical immunity ability, covering all his previous weak spots the skeleton class has. This immunity ability applies against anyone at level 60 or below, which includes mostly everyone in the series except for the residents of the Tomb of Nazarick, of course. And thanks to Dark Wisdom and the fact that he exceeds 300 spell limit, it is safe to say that he has a lot of high tier spells, including his powerful summons of Eternal Death, and the Pale Riders that I spoke of before that come at a cost of his experience points, so he prefers not to use those. However, he still has more undead units that he can summon, with his ability stemming from summoning the undead to do his bidding, including Undead Aura, Undead Creation, Undead Control, and Undead Strengthening. And don't forget about his Rite of Darkness, which buffs his undead creations even further. Then there is his countless spells, and I won't go ahead listing them though. I have to point out that I have never seen in my life a game that allows a character to have that many spells and get away with it, but I will still name a few of his most used spells that we got to experience firsthand. An anime like Black Hole, which summons a portal that disintegrates you into complete nothingness, and even light can escape it. Create Fortress, a 10th tier spell which conjures a 30-meter tall tower out of thin air, just like that. The teleportation spell he uses almost all the time. Then there is his spell Perfect Warrior, allowing him to transfer his magic powers and skills to physical strength, becoming a level 100 warrior type, allowing him to use skills that were rather locked to his class, with the disadvantage of him becoming unable to cast any spells whatsoever. Then there is Reality Slash, an attack that is, as advertised, with its ability to cut through anything existing and tearing the fabric of reality. Gravity Maelstrom, an ability that creates hyper-intensive fields of gravity equivalent to the power of the Reality Slash, as well as Black Hole. Going into his necromancy skills, to name a few, there is the Thousand Bone Lances spell, the same one he used against Shalter. As a barrage of bones surrounding the target from all directions. Wall of Skeleton, a defensive ability that creates a wall from hundreds of corpses that can also move, attack, and defend. And an ability that not many know of, but I had to mention it since it's such a hilarious skill, and I have to mention it, okay? Get this, guys. Ainz has an ability that allows him to summon a giant cyclone, hundreds of meters long, with several 6-feet sharks inside of it. Like, seriously, bro, are you telling me that this guy is able to summon a Sharknado to tear his opponents and shred them into pieces? Then there is the ace in the hole, his super tier spells. However, we will discuss these in another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I had fun making it for you. I would appreciate it if you guys like, subscribe, comment, and press on that bell icon to keep yourself notified of all our latest new videos. And let me know if you want a part 2 for this video concerning his other abilities, high tier magic and items. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.